Well, hey there, this is Brady Shearer. I'm the founder of Pro Church Tools and the creator of Nucleus. And over the last couple of months, my team and I have been working on a case study that looks at more than 1,000 church websites from around the world. We just published this full case study. You can find it at blog.nucleus.church. And here are a few of the main takeaways from this case study. Let me first begin by saying that your church's website is the single most important marketing and outreach tool that your church has at its disposal. Consider this. According to Forbes, 97% of people search for local organizations online, and according to HubSpot, 46% of all Google searches are local. Your church's website is the front line for your entire ministry. It's where first impressions are formed. It's how you get discovered. It's where new visitors are introduced to you, and it's where existing members can find the information they need. Now, think about this. Every single day, people in your community are searching for a church, but instead of checking out your service, they're first going to check out your website. So ask yourself this question: what kind of first impression is your church's website making? Because that is the most important duty your church website is responsible for, making a good first impression. Let's look at some data. According to Google, first impressions happen online in about 0.05 seconds. Moreover, in a study of first impressions online, 94% of participant feedback was design related. Here's the bottom line. In 2018 and beyond, your church's website is responsible for first impressions, and those first impressions happen and are formed in just a few milliseconds. So let me ask you that question again. What kind of first impression is your church's website making? Because if you're like most churches, well, it's not a good one. Our team conducted this case study, looking at more than 1,000 church websites from a total of 32 different countries. All 50 states in America are represented in this case study, as well as all 10 provinces from Canada. The case study was a simple 5-part test, analyzing whether or not a church's website made a good first impression. And again, you can read the full case study at blog.nucleus.church. Here's what we found. Of the more than 1,000 church websites we analyzed, 96.2% failed the first impression test. Even more alarming, not only did 96% of church websites fail the test, but 8 out of every 10 failed more than one part of the test. Here's the bottom line. The vast majority of church websites are broken. We need a better way. And that's exactly what Nucleus is for. Over the last year, the Nucleus team and I have been working with more than 1,000 churches as we construct from scratch a new kind of website builder for churches. We've been in private beta for close to a year. We've been working intimately with hundreds and hundreds of churches, listening to their feedback, adding new features, and we've spent more than $1 million building this platform entirely to serve churches. And on Tuesday, March 20th, 2018, at 11 a.m. Eastern, Nucleus will finally be ready to be unveiled to the world. Of course, you're here right now already, so let me give you a sneak peek. Perhaps the most important element of every Nucleus is its homepage. Remember, the primary duty of every church website is to make a good first impression. But because if you can't do that, if you can't get past that first couple of seconds with a new visitor, nothing else matters. Also remember that 94% of a first impression online is design related. When it comes to a first impression, users don't care particularly about the usability or even the content. They only care about design. In fact, Google said it this way: users strongly prefer website designs that look both simple and familiar. And websites with low visual complexity were found most appealing. Knowing this, we specifically engineered the homepage of every Nucleus to always make great first impressions. Of course, once your website has made a great first impression, now it's time to make sure your site is usable and intuitive. Here's what the senior project manager at Bing, Dwayne Forrester, had to say about the duty of websites. Your goal should be that when a visitor lands on your page, the content answers all of their needs, encouraging their next action to remain with you. And this is where many church websites fall short. Most church websites that are built with a theme or a builder like Squarespace, Wix, or Weebly don't have the features that most churches need to allow for next steps. And that's where Nucleus is different. It's built specifically for churches and comes with a ton of features that are unique to ministry. Features like message notes that allow you to follow along with the pastor's message, take your own notes along the way, and then email yourself the notes once you're done. Features like church management software integration that allow a person in your church to fill out a form on your Nucleus and immediately have that connect to your church management software to begin the follow-up process or workflow. Features like built-in giving that allow your congregation to give directly on your website. Perhaps most importantly, Nucleus was developed for the average church staff member or volunteer to use and maintain. The Nucleus editor is wildly simple. Here's what one of our users had to say. After seeing how easy to use the Nucleus backend was, I realized that I could train anyone on our staff to take over and maintain our Nucleus in less than 5 minutes. That was the deciding factor for me. I literally stopped the walkthrough video that I was watching and signed up immediately. We've been using it ever since, and the best part is that I was able to train a couple of people on our staff, both of which have zero web design experience, and now they run the entire site. One of the reasons that Nucleus is so easy to use, especially for those who don't have any advanced web or coding experience, are the single-click templates. With just the touch of a button, you can build an entire page on your website. Every Nucleus comes preloaded with dozens of existing single-click templates for every kind of ministry and next step at your church, and we're always adding more. Now, here's what Adam, a worship arts pastor, had to say about Nucleus. I love that I can finally edit a website myself without waiting for the website guy to do it. I used to freak out when we needed a last-minute change. Well, not anymore. Another great thing about Nucleus is that it shines on mobile devices. More than 50% of all internet traffic comes from mobile devices. And knowing this, we designed the Nucleus platform mobile first. What that means is that before we ever designed how Nucleus would look and feel on a desktop computer, we designed how it would look and feel on your phone. When using Nucleus on your phone, you'll notice it feels more like a mobile app than a traditional website. And this is another reason why Nucleus is so valuable to churches, especially smaller churches, because Nucleus can do everything a mobile app can do and more. You'll never need to pay for both a church app and a church website when you use Nucleus, because with Nucleus, your website can be your one-stop shop for everything. Don't just take it from me. Here's what Will had to say. Will says, "We canceled our app and received an even more fantastic service in Nucleus for a quarter of the price. I love that Nucleus has the flexibility of a website and it's not limited to templated app designs." Lastly, all the features in the world won't make a difference if they don't actually lead to results, right? So don't take it from me. Here's what a few of our Nucleus beta users are saying about their experience with Nucleus thus far. Nucleus was the best decision we made last year for our church. We've got more activity across all ministries. And isn't that the whole point? I couldn't believe how our Nucleus actually increased participation in our church. When we launched our Nucleus, signups increased about 20% from similar events the year prior. And if you think this is just for young churches or young people, think again. We've found on countless occasions that that perception is simply untrue. Adam told us this. "I was surprised to see the first person that I actually saw use our Nucleus and fill out a form was an older woman in her late 60s. I think people aren't nearly afraid of change as we may sometimes like to think." Now, behind the scenes, we've been working with more than 1,000 churches building Nucleus to be all that it can and all that it should be. It's taken almost a full year to get to this point, more than $1 million spent in countless customer conversations with the original 1,000 plus churches that joined Nucleus in that first week, who, by the way, are the best users in the world, and we couldn't have done any of this without you. Nucleus is a new kind of website builder for churches. The framework is put together to guarantee your church always makes a great first impression online. From single-click templates to advanced integrations, Nucleus is unlike anything else. Nucleus launches March 20th, 2018. In the meantime, you can head to blog.nucleus.church to read through a ton of great articles that we've put together, and you can join the launch list for Nucleus at www.nucleus.church. Why just have a website when you could have a Nucleus? Talk soon.